Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back. Tisha here. This episode really jacked up my nerves because I just don't get what McKelty is doing here. I understand that Robin was there for her and all those other things, but it just seems really insulting that she's so close to somebody who's treated her mother so poorly. That's my first thought. My second thought is when someone is trying to spend so much time convincing you of how happy they are, they aren't. The bald eagle is really trying to convince us and himself that he's happy, but I'm not buying it. This is a man who went from riding horses and ATVs, from wrestling with his boys and enjoying outdoor activities, to playing Jenga. Jenga. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Jenga too, but part of me takes joy in watching the bald eagle sit here and try to convince us of how fulfilling these game/music nights are with him and the feathered people. Let's go ahead and begin. Do me a favor, hit the like button as it helps the growth of the channel. So we begin this episode in Utah. Oh, and before I forget, I will be leaving certain things out. Feel free to put down if there's something that I missed that you want to talk about, put it down in the comment section below, because there will probably be follow-up videos that discuss it. So let's go ahead and get back into it. We begin in Utah. Christine is talking about the upcoming wedding of this bride and groom. At no point do they say Logan and Michelle. I don't know if they're not allowed to say their names or what, because for whatever reason, their names are not being mentioned in the episode. She says to her knowledge, the bride spoke with her and told her that she doesn't even think that the bald eagle, aka Dodo Bird, aka Baldylocks, is coming, or that the bird is coming. But Christine plans on being friendly regardless if they come or not. Cody says he did speak with the bride and groom at one point and let them know that he doesn't feel like he should come. I hate that he felt the need to call them and put that burden on them, because either you're coming or you're not. Don't tell me you may not come because you're looking for me to encourage you to come and because you want to call me and act like you're still the victim in this situation. Because he told the bride and groom that he doesn't think that he should come because of the hate that he's getting from the other family members, and mostly because of all the crap that Janelle and Christine have said about him. I personally feel like he said worse, but okay. He says they're all culpable in this. If that's true, why is it that you take no accountability? Why is it that you felt the need to even call and say those things, whereas the moms in this situation never felt the need to do that? They were okay with going, even if that meant running into you two. The bird doesn't want Saul and Ari to get caught up in this tense situation, and Cody doesn't want people looking at him but not talking to him because he's still extremely hurt by everything. I don't get how these two feathered people have managed to make this situation, this upcoming wedding, be about them being in attendance and their feelings rather than the two people who are getting married. Him saying that he's hurt, is he really hurt? No, his ego is bruised. His ego is bruised because he didn't think that this would get to this point. And he himself has admitted that he doesn't want to forgive. How can anything get better if you're not willing to forgive? And I don't understand what it is that he feels like he needs to forgive, because I don't think anyone has wronged him. Christine says she's been thought about it, and the last wedding that they all attended was 4 years ago. We know it's been a lot longer than that at this point, but it was when Aspen and Mitch got married. They all said it was a great day. She says she was happy with Cody then. The bird feels like it's painful to look back at that now, at where they were, because they were so happy back then. And now she wonders if that was even true. Cody then lets us know that it was wonderful, the wedding, even for him and Christine, meaning at that time, they both felt like they were in a good place. He says that it was 6 weeks before they moved to Flagstaff. So 6 weeks before they moved to Flagstaff. What it is Cody was doing what he had to do to make sure that he got what he wanted. He wanted to move to Flagstaff. He was going to make sure he was on his best behavior and that he was making his wives happy so that he could move there, because he even fooled Mary. We then find out that Mykelti and Tony are not going to be able to go. Excuse me, because of how close it is to her giving birth. She is kind of on light duty, so she can't make that. She can't do that type of traveling and things of that nature. She needs to stay at home. Christine says it's going to be a little crazy because Mykelti is such a good mediator. I personally don't think that Mykelti is mediating anything. I personally feel like she plays both sides. It's okay that if you disagree with me, put it down below. I feel like Mykelti shares information between both parties, and whether she's doing this intentionally, I think that it causes some other issues because she's disclosing things at times that I don't feel like she should disclose. Janelle says she's nervous about her first interaction with the Feather people. She says that her kids are upset with their dad, but they're not going to do anything stupid. Excuse me, at the wedding, that they'll probably just go. They may ignore each other for all she knows. The bird says, the kids don't need to be involved in the issues with their parents. Pot meet kettle. Because how are you saying what the kids shouldn't do when it involves their parents, when you're the same person, bird, who made your kids privy to the issues that you went through with your ex-husband, saying that he did some supposed vile things that a lot of us to this day don't believe it to be true. So cut the crap. We find out that all the adults haven't been together in over a year. And that was at Isabel's graduation party. Christine says, we said a lot of things behind each other's backs, and I just hope that we'll all behave. The wedding happens. We don't get to see it. Janelle says that Cody and Robin were in one section. She was with Christine. She says she waved at Mary, but she was sitting with Christine and the kids. Mary says it was weird because there are some people in the family who do not want to talk to her, and there are some people who do. The ones that do were the ones that she kind of hung with. Janelle says her and Cody said hi in passing, but that was about it. Cody says him and Robin were basically put in the corner, probably for their safety. He's laughing, but I think some part of him feels like that's true. The bird felt it wasn't right that they aren't all together. Some of the family embraced me and I embraced them back. I got an I love you from Gabe and I told him I loved him back. Okay? She just felt the need to let us know that Gabe said I love you. Maybe Gabe does. Good for him. I don't. Cody says he saw Janelle. He didn't want to talk to her, but you did. Whether it's right or wrong, it's a deep sense of betrayal, and he just doesn't want to talk to her. He said there's so many family members there that were like, hi, I love you. And then it was like, let's hurry up and get away from each other. So he found himself trying to insert himself or having to insert himself in the fun. He says he saw Christine, but they didn't really talk to each other. And he felt like there were members of the family that were trying to look like they were having more fun than him. Who approaches a situation like that? That's the problem with this man. He keeps feeling like at this point that the family are doing things in order to make him feel a way when it's the complete opposite. At this point, these are young adults who are all living their lives for them and not for the bald eagle. But he then admits that it's divorce. Divorce makes you say childish things like that. It's not divorce, it's Cody. He says it's a civil war with the family and it's awkward. Janelle's like, it was awkward. And at this point, I'm just glad that these events won't be happening often where we have to all be together. Cody says when Christine packed his stuff, he just felt like it's betrayal. But now looking back at it, he feels like if they could have ended things as friends, that it wouldn't have caused issues with everybody else. He still doesn't get it. He still does not get that the problems that he has with his family have nothing to do with the situation involving him and Christine's divorce. If Christine was truly the issue, then her children would not be still trying to be present in his life. Janelle's kids, to me, seem to have more hard lines and to be more upset about the way that they were treated and their mother was treated. They were more vocal about it than Christine's kids. So how are we putting this all on the divorce when it's not about the divorce, Cody? It's about you. Back in Flagstaff, Cody says he and Mary broke up, that even if they were both single, he wouldn't want her. She's upset because he dragged it out for so long. And at this point, he just wants to be friends with her because he doesn't want a repeat of what's happened with the other wives. I think what it really is he doesn't want Mary to tell the secrets. Mary has bones that are buried that she still has not pulled out yet. And whether Mary is truly writing a book or not, I don't know, but we would love to read it, Mary, because you have something on him, because he's concerned about your relationship, you all being friends, not just because he doesn't want it to be where y'all don't talk. It's because he knows that you got something on him. He does. And because he wants to make sure that you don't get too much out of him when you try to get Coyote Pass squared away. He brings up Janelle and how he doesn't get why they can't reconcile. And Janelle tells us that when they first moved to Flagstaff, there were times where she would have to remind Cody to come over. And when he would make up an excuse about how he was so tired and that he, just needed to stay, put because he was so tired and he was at Robin's. And she would be like, okay, he can get just as much sleep at my house as you can at hers. When she said it, I said, it's about time, Janelle. It's about time that you further confirm the things that Christine has been saying, which is that he was not fair in the way he divided his time. She says, over time, we became separate. This is when we see him at the bird's house, and the camera angle is funky to me to a point where I wonder why the camera crew didn't pull back. Makes me wonder if they were in there for filming, if they set up tripods, if they were instructed not to film too much of the house, because it's so close to them and everybody's there with the exception of Dayton, and they're playing Jenga. The bird claims to have reached out to family members, but they haven't responded back. She's reached out to some of the kids, so she guessed they're not ready yet. And I feel like they haven't responded back because they don't want to deal with her manipulation. They don't want to deal with what she's going to bring. And honestly, even though she claims they're not, the bird isn't a safe place. Janelle has told Cody that she enjoys being away from him, according to Cody. The bird is just sitting there and she's like, I'm just upset that, we messed up the family. Cody says, at this house, at Robin's house, we have an experience. Every summer, the girls are doing music and we do stuff like this game night right here. He's talking to us like he's trying to sell us a commercial. He's like, usually it's with guitars and music and stuff. We have this nice family experience. It's almost perpetual. Doesn't look fun to me. The bird says, Saul and Ari aren't tracking what's happening in the family. We had this preparation for COVID, and it sort of prepped them for separation, the separation that's happening. I'm really struggling with the idea of whether or not I remind them about their siblings and talk about them and show them pictures and stuff like that, because that's going to create the question of like, where are my siblings? Why aren't they seeing me? Why didn't they send me a birthday card or something like that? Why aren't they here for my party? Where are they and why aren't they here? What the bleep? What is she talking about? How in the world is that already not something that Saul is questioning? I understand that maybe Ariella isn't because she was a lot younger, but Solomon was of age where he understood what was going on because he's a year under Truly. Do you not think that he doesn't recognize that these other people aren't around? It really makes me feel like they've always been separate. She says there are times where they'll ask if the whole family is coming. And Janelle's like, look, bottom line is Robin was always separate from us. Her kids weren't even allowed to go in Robin's fridge. They got scolded for going in Robin's fridge, which is why we all saw that note on her fridge. Mary says there was a lot of tension and conflict, but that happens whenever someone new enters the family. Sounds to me like you all need to work on that dynamic then, but that's no excuse. Robin says, Mary was accepting of me and my kids, but the rest of the family struggled to accept us. And Christine says, my kids didn't like going to Robin's house because they saw the differences between the relationship that Robin and Cody have versus myself and Cody. They were more of a couple. Cody says he and Christine were a couple too. I don't know. I feel like in the beginning, I thought that out of all his wives that Cody liked Mary and liked Robin the most. I feel like Cody forgets that we saw the interactions. We saw how affectionate he was with Robin at various points on their honeymoon and other times. We saw how he always needed to touch her or kiss her even before they got married. He was googly-eyed with her. So to sit there and act like the kids are making this up or Christine is making this up, no, it's true. You didn't notice it, but they did. They saw a difference in the way you acted towards their mom. Cody then talks to us about Ariella, who Christine hasn't really been around since she was little, right? Because we know that they moved to Flagstaff when I think she was like 4, and then they had the whole separation with that, and then they had the pandemic. And he was like, once Ariella said that she didn't like Christine, but I corrected her and said, you don't know her. You haven't been around her enough to know her to say that. Cody, you're just confirming our beliefs here that they weren't around. Y'all weren't around together as a family. She said, well, I don't like her because she left you, Dad. I don't like that. He says, even at that young age, it just shows her loyalty. And now that loyalty is happening amongst others in the family. What the hell are you talking about? And what were you saying around her for her to even say that? There's something that you guys were talking about, because I remember some of the stuff she was saying when Christine was saying goodbye and she was like, y'all need to date more, which is exactly what her mother said. She's been made privy to the situation, even though Robin said earlier in the show, you don't involve kids. Well, this is yet another example, Robin, of you involving her, because she heard what you said, because we already know she was probably still sleeping in your bed at the time. So she heard what was going on. He tells us about how, Ari was crying one time really bad when he was about to leave, and she wrapped herself around his leg and yada, yada, yo. And Robin told him that he needed to take time with her and that he needed to give her 5 more minutes so that she could work out her feelings. And Janelle says to that, like, look, my kids knew from the very beginning that their father was not always going to be there. And if I'm being completely honest, I think that Cody and Robin mismanaged the situation with her kids. And I said, Janelle, where have you been? This is the version of Janelle that I like. I can appreciate this, Janelle, because you're calling it out that there was a problem very early on, which was that Robin was not acting like the way the rest of you all were acting. She was not being the polygamous guru that she acts like she is. She says, Janelle does, with her kids, Cody couldn't be away for more than 3 or 4 days because Ari gets sad or whatever. But I just feel like it's poor parenting. We've all said for a long time that there are things that Robin does that a lot of us wouldn't do. And here she's calling it out. She said the other kids had to go without seeing him and they've all grown up to be fine. Robin is like, look, I've never stopped Cody from going to the other moms' homes. I would not have allowed that. I wouldn't have said don't go. But you didn't encourage him to go either. Because there were times where he should have been around his kids. And we didn't hear you telling him to go. We heard you encouraging him to stay. Or to have certain wives follow certain rules, or to make certain allowances so that you could get help and you can continue to lay in the bed even though you had nannies and all that other stuff going on. We then hear, I'm going through a lot of mourning, loss and grief of relationships, and dealing with some of my own just, situational depression from it. It's just so sad, and I miss my family members. How can you miss people you never saw? How? And why now? Cody thinks that time will fix it. No, it's going to make it worse. It has made it worse. Bird says, Cody is struggling. It's devastating what's happened to us. To them? What? Done with that. Let's get to McKelty. McKelty is seeing Dr. Bean, who was Christine's doctor for Truly. She is 37 weeks. At an appointment, she's measuring at 52. She wants a natural birth and is told that she will not be able to do it if they continue to be in the position that they are, because they are feet first, and with them being twins, he can't do any short of adjustments on them. Janelle says even though McKelty doesn't want to have a C-section, she gets it because she too had a C-section and the recovery is a lot harder from that. McKelty is struggling with the fact that she won't be able to hold her baby. First thing, you will, just not the same way. But she is with having the safer option of a C-section as long as she and her kids are okay. We find out that if it is a C-section, that Christine will be in the waiting room with Robin. The doctor makes some comments about, don't worry, your favorite mother will be there. And Christine makes it sound like, ooh, your favorite mother. But he doesn't know the situation. We then hear that while Christine was giving birth to Truly, even though Cody had absolutely no intentions of pursuing this, that while she was giving birth, he asked Dr. Bean about in vitro doctors for his other wife, Mary. And Christine says he felt that was kind of funny. No, he felt that was odd, because why are you talking to me about in vitro for another wife because she has one kid while we're sitting here trying to get through this pregnancy successfully with this wife? We find out everybody's excited about the twins coming. Robin hopes everything will be cool with her and Christine. And she says she respects Christine's role as her mom. McKelty has the option of being able to have a mirror there to see the babies coming out of her. She's excited about it. We found out on the day of, Robin drove there, picked up Tony's mom. She says, I'm going to put aside my hurt and my sadness and my feelings of betrayal to be around Christine. I don't understand why Robin keeps trying to push this narrative that she's betrayed when the situation should have nothing to do with you, since her and Cody's marriage was separate. We hear for the umpteenth time that the Bird and McKelty had a special experience, and how Robin was there for her when she needed to be loved and to be, felt like, I don't know. That note is weird. Janelle said something along the lines of, some people may question it, but she gets it because of how Robin was there for her and all those other things, but I don't get it. Cody says that it helped him and Christine with have a closer relationship with Mykelti. So they, owe a lot to, her. They all wait in the waiting room while Tony gets dressed in a suit like every other person who is going to witness their babies being delivered via cesarean. Right before the surgery, Mykelti's pressure was an issue. I feel like it was because she was nervous. We know she didn't want to have a hospital birth in the first place, and now not only is it going to be in the hospital, but it's not going to be natural because she's going to have to get an epidural because she's going to have a cesarean. She was shaking and stuff when they went to give her the epidural. Tony comes in, which immediately she says she feels better. During the operation, they were born at 5:31 and 5:32 p.m. She says, I heard the voices of my moms in the other rooms. I always felt like it's weird to me how they pick and choose when they say moms, but apparently in this part of the episode, Robin is her mom. Mykelti's glad that the both of them were there for her because it's a memorable moment that she can share with her moms, and it's really important to her. The bird says it was love at first sight. She was holding one of the babies and Christine was holding another. So it's kind of, we were just holding. We were just holding our grandbabies together. I just wish it was under different circumstances as far as Christine and I are concerned. And it was kind of sweet because, for a moment, I could just forget all that. Really? Christine stayed one night at the hospital with her. Maria was at the house watching Avalon. Then when they got home, Robin spent several nights there. She's really inserting Robin, and I don't like it. I don't. The babies are introduced to Avalon. Avalon accidentally pokes one of them a little bit, but the baby's eye was closed, so she didn't hurt him. She's struggling a little. She doesn't want to hold them, even though they keep trying to force, the babies on her. We hear again about how things were with all the kids and polygamy, and Cody says that Christine got jealous, One of his wives was jealous, and it was Christine. She got jealous when Logan was born. Christine's like, look, Logan was lovely. It wasn't about Logan. It was about me struggling with the first year of plural marriage, which we know is true because she put it in the book, because Cody was like a deer in headlights after they got married. It was hard on her and she lost her identity, but the bald eagle loves rewriting history. Christine says the babies look nothing like Avalon, and she's laughing, and she says they don't like each other either. Robin is going to be staying with Mykelti and Tony for a couple of nights to help. Mykelti says it's nice that they could all the grandmas can be with the babies at different points. It's interesting, though, to me that the bird can be away from her kids for a long period of time, but Cody can't. Because how is she staying all these nights? I'm just saying. We hear that Robin's kids love Mykelti, how Mykelti's role is bringing the family together, according to Christine. The bird says people think that when they're divorced that you don't have to see each other, but you do. She's going to be helping the most, and then Christine, her words, will step in and she'll hand off the baton once she leaves. I think she really is enjoying this. I think that a part of Robin likes the fact that she is there as a constant when it comes to this situation. Christine says Robin being there was awkward, and it's going to be awkward for a while. They'll do what they have to do for the kids, but she doesn't see them coming back together soon. I just didn't like it. I got to be honest. I get that, Mykelti wants Robin to be there, but I don't understand how Mykelti can hear all of the things that the bird has previously said about her mother and still feel like she wants Robin to be a part. Me personally, maybe it makes me a little immature, but my loyalty would be to my mother. There's no way that I wouldn't have it any other way. But you all let me know what you think down below. How do we feel about this episode? I think this episode was decent. I still don't appreciate the fact that TLC is trying to make Robin and Cody appear like they're victims when they're not. I'd appreciate it if rather than giving us flashbacks of the same old stuff, that you would give us some flashbacks of the crap that they pulled. But you all, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined the fam. It means a lot. We are on the road to what? 2,000. And I plan to get to it sooner than later. Until next time.